Hey guys, Ycoms here and welcome back to the AOR Season 16 Championship here with round number 4 at Baku, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. This race was the first race we had after a 2-week break because of the races would have clashed with the real F1 calendar, the two races in the US and Mexico, I believe it was. So it's always a little bit interesting when you come back from a break week, really, or from break weeks, really, to try to get back into this whole rhythm. To be honest, I practiced a lot for this race. I tried really to close the gap as much as possible to the absolute front of the field. And to be honest, especially here in qualifying, my pace looked really good over the week. My PB was at 35.9 coming into the session, so we're definitely trying to get somewhere near that really in this final run here in the qualifying session. Breaking down just when the curb, before the curb begins here into 4th gear. A little bit of oversteer there. That was not the best first corner, to be honest. They try not to hit the curb here too much here on the on the inside. Good exit out of there. Lost a little bit of time compared to my previous best, but nothing too major really. Just before the 100 meter ball down into 3rd gear once again. Down into 2nd gear, even touching the wall there on the outside. That was not ideal. They try not to hit any of these inside curves, which is quite crucial on this track, to be honest. Otherwise, it will unsettle the car quite a bit. Except this corner here. But for the right-hander, we need to avoid the curbs here as much as possible as well. A little bit, a relatively good first sector, I have to say. Now coming into this tricky tech castle section, trying to maximize the line through here. Very close to the walls. Trying to open up this left-hander. Such a crucial corner on the track. Not the best opening out of there, but we're still over 1.5 tenths up, so we definitely have some time to gain here in this final 2 corners, rail corners. And coming into this corner here, the left-hander actually making a mistake there that gives us front wing damage. Coming through the final corner, can we somehow still improve this lap? It is gonna be very close. Well, if we're gonna improve this lap, it's gonna be by a fine margin. But we can see on the top left, Comrade Gaming currently only 4 thousandths ahead of us. So if we somehow improve by 5 thousandths, that would be very useful to at least nab provisional pole position away from him. Do we do it? Yes, we can, by 1/1000th of a second. But that was a messy lap, to say the least, really. And it is surprisingly the front row of the grid nonetheless. First front row start for me, really, in the PC F1 League since quite a while, to be honest. And with that time as well, there was definitely so much more time to gain on this lap. It would have been difficult to beat Danny. 36.0, that's a very good time. So, but still, position-wise, I'm super happy with this qualifying. And we'll go from there, I guess, and see how the race goes. Strategy for me: 1 stop, ultra soft. I know the super soft or soft strategy is quicker, but on the PC side, normally the guys are a little bit more tentative. Qualifying on the ultra soft, as you can see also by the grid here today, which is why I opted for that strategy and tried to break away really with Danny, with failure maybe at the start of the race. Here we go then. Round 4 at Baku is underway very shortly. We've got 5 lights. Trying to get a reasonably good start. Very short run into turn number 1. We've got the inside light on Jan Fehler here, and there we go. We're maintaining P2 even though we didn't have the greatest launch off the line. Once again, Danny in the lead, and we are in 2nd. Worth noticing the lead super soft runners here are Fabrizio Donoso. I think he started I can't remember exactly, P9, P7, 8, something like that. I can't remember exactly. And both Renaults, who've locked out the entire season so far, Daniela Haddad and David Tunica, are outside of the top 10. So this is not too bad for us ultra soft runners here for the start of the race. We just will have to keep the tires in check as much as possible and trying to pull a gap really to get the early advantage here to not lose too much time on these soft tires, because we are not on the quickest strategy here. There is no doubt about that. But we've got the track position and we've got the clean air here really in the first couple of laps. So that's what we need to use to try and pull a gap here. A little bit of wall touching. We don't want to do that too often really on this track. You can get front wing damage quite easily. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there as well. So not the best first lap to be honest, but we might just still nap the slipstream here of Danny. Gonna try to use a little bit more ERS than we would normally use, because I feel like it is very, very important to stick with Danny here in this first stint, and if we can do that, then we are in a superb position really for the rest of the race. Finishing the first lap, and it seems like already that us three here in the at the front are pulling away, which is not really surprising. Jan also looked very, very strong in practice when I was practicing with him. He was also someone who was able to do 35s at some point really in practice, so he looked really, really strong on this track too. Even though, we will come to that later, he is a candidate maybe for a two-stop strategy, which he tried once in practice if I remember correctly. So we see how that goes. And this first sector here is really my territory, it seems like. We're also gaining a little bit on Danny here. And there we go, yeah, us top three have broken away really from the rest of the pack here. Already at the middle of lap 2. They're coming into the castle section here once again, trying to just fiddle around. That's a mistake from Danny. He's lost his wheel, his front left wheel, and that gives us the position A, and B, we've got a safety car, which is pretty much a downside of that really, because that is not going to help whatsoever in terms of trying to get a lead here early on. And we are here already on the end of lap 4 on the restart. I can tell you, some people actually pitted at the end of lap 2 here, and that gifted so many people, so many places behind, especially the super soft runners. That's not really good, but we're trying to concentrate now on this restart. We need to stay in front. We need to pull a gap here in these next 2 laps before we're gonna pit. And there we go. Prepare to resume racing. No overtaking. Well, that's a little bit that's not quite correct, but we had a reasonable good restart. Can we defend the inside line into turn 1? I don't really want to defend too much here on the inside. We just get it on the braking. There we go, and we are maintaining the lead of the race. Alvaro Carreton went up the inside of 2 people, I think, there, and that has helped us a little bit as well. And now it's really time. We need to push as hard as possible. I can already tell you, Fabrizio Donoso in P4 now after the pit stops that happened between him and us people in front. So really, this safety car period has helped out the super soft runners quite a bit, I have to say. And this is not really what I wanted, but still we are in the leading position, and we are in a leading position. We are leading an AOR race, which is something that doesn't happen too often really. And this is something we should enjoy as much as possible for the next 2 laps, I guess, before we're gonna pit and then we'll lose the lead again. And really at this point I just, try to maximize the pace here. There's no point in saving tires really at this point. You're gonna pay, you can go obviously with when you have the safety car, go to lap 7, but since the safety car pretty much ruins your advantage anyway, it doesn't really matter. You can go to the end from lap 6 onwards anyway. From the softs, 1 lap difference doesn't make that much, of an impact. So we will just go for 1 more lap here and try to maximize these tires as much as possible. 44%, there we go. We could have easily done 2 more laps here on these tires, but yeah, I thought 1 more lap is probably the best. Setting the fastest lap of the race, which is not really surprising because this is the first real lap, flying lap. Even though the tires were also a little bit cold, obviously, from the safety car period. And have we broken DRS from Alvaro and Fabrizio? Oh, actually, Jan hit it at the end of this lap, which is for him a little bit unfortunate because he's obviously going probably for the 2-stop, as I mentioned before. And the problem with that is obviously he should have pitted really at the end of lap 2 to do that really. Otherwise, there would have been no point doing that. So It is, yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate strategy call for him, I guess. And he's probably not going to fight for too many good positions anymore. And we have broken, though, a slipstream from Alvaro and Fabrizio. That is super, super crucial. And we're also way ahead now on P4, which is actually a Renault. That is most likely David Tonita. So he started what is that? P11, I think. And he's already up into P4 now. So, yeah. Again, I say it again, this safety car period has not helped us, but it gained us the lead of the race. And it's unfortunate, obviously, that Danny, such an experienced driver nowadays as well, has made such a mistake. I think this was also one of the weekends right after the second event in the Pro Series, so there's obviously not too much practicing going on for Alvaro, Fabrizio, Tino, and for Danny. But yeah, that probably explains really that why he made such a mistake there. And there we go, going into pits. Alvaro is following us. There's no one behind us going into the pits, so we should be fine, not getting held up. There we go. Coming out of the pits, obviously in net last. No, actually not net last. That's Mark coming around to the first corner. We should be ahead of him. Yes, and now it's about really trying to get into a rhythm on these soft tires. I was always there was some, like, I was consistent on these tires, but there was inconsistency across several stints. So there would be one stint where I would do 40s for such a long time in the stint, and there were just stints like these here so far where I just couldn't get into the 40s at all, and I have no idea why. And I was really driving well, in my opinion. I was not driving bad at all, but I just couldn't get into these 40s. And I knew, as we're now on lap 11, well, we are now caught up to obviously cars which we need to overtake here, and that's nobody in Slake, and we need to get these people as quickly as possible, because you can see P9 behind us. David Tonita has pitted, and he's came out ahead of Fabrizio Donoso as well. So we have got a hell of a task here in the next 15 laps if we want to hang on to a decent position here, especially towards, especially since David and Fab should easily catch us really with these fresher tires. There we go. Then though we're gonna concentrate here on nobody and Slake, trying to maximize this right hand speed here. We're not sure where we're gonna go. We're going through the middle. That's not the best idea. We're making a little bit of contact there with both of them, losing us a little bit of straight line speed. We're still trying to show the nose here. Slick, he leaves us room on the inside. We've got the better tires, and we're up the inside here for turn 2. That should be the move done here for P6. A little bit of an interesting one, to be honest. I was hoping not to make it that close really, but I needed to be aggressive there, needed to make the move. It was so crucial that there was, like, if I would have been held up for another lap behind these guys, I would any chance of winning this race would have been out of the window, to be honest. Well, speaking of chances of winning this race, well, they're getting slimmer as we now skip to lap 16. This is only 4.5 laps later, and David Tonita and Fabrizio Donoso have caught us like crazy. Literally, like crazy. David Tonita's fastest lap, 40.2, I think it was, on these soft tires. I mean, what the hell is this man doing? I have no idea at this point. And I was like, yeah, sure, I will not fight you too much, really. There is no point, really. He's been so much faster in the last couple of laps. Well, I mean, I will obviously maintain this pace, so maybe his tires will drop off a little bit, even though his tires are a bit fresher, but still. This is going to be a task this is going to be an impossible task, really, to keep him behind. Especially since he's now already so close, and yeah. Using a little bit of ARS here, but nothing too much. We need to be aware of that as well, and there we go. He's going past us. We're losing the net lead of the race. Oh, are we even in the net lead of the race? Because there are two people in front of us who are still not pitted. That is Mr. White Lilac and Presnade, which is Smash, if you know him under that name, PP Smash, which is the reigning F2 champion, by the way. Got promoted up into F1 this season. And yeah, we're skipping on to lap 18, so one lap later, and Musto has pitted, and we are a little bit too aggressive over the cut. That was a corner cut and a half. not really what you want to see, but yeah. Yeah, not too good really. And yeah, Presnade is still out here, so I wonder at this point if he's gonna go to the end. He pitted on lap 2, obviously. So it is possible to do that. It is gonna require a lot of tire saves, which is probably done. And here we go, David Tunisa taking the lead of the race. Have a look up the inside? No, we don't. You know, at this point, it's all about securing a podium and maybe not the win. I thought, like, probably I'm not fighting for the win anymore if David can keep up the pace he's had so far in this race. It's all about really getting past Presnade here and maybe hope that Fabrizio gets held up a little bit longer. That's super late on the brakes there from us. Luckily only tapped Presnade slightly without any consequence. That's a little bit wide as well. That's going to give Fabrizio the chance here to have a look. But he's not trying anything really at this point. It doesn't really matter really that we lost a little bit of time there, because we're going to gain that time easily back on the Sauber in front, who is on 4 laps older tires. Well, two and a half laps, or maybe 3 laps older tires, who were a little bit wide there in the caster section. I have some interesting memories really from this caster section, not gonna lie. So yeah, we definitely don't want to crash out there in the last 7 laps of the race after we had really a solid race. A little bit over too much over the curb there as well. And the question is, does Presnade have the slipstream or the DRS from David Tunita? I don't think he has. We are a little bit further back than I wanted to. And there we go, Fabrizio Donoso could go for the 2 and 1 here. As we're opening up the gears, side by side for Fabrizio. I am overtaking Presnade on the left. Fabrizio's on the right hand side. It's 3 wide, almost into turn number 1. Fabrizio's super late on the brakes here. That's too late for him on the brakes. That's got us the inside line. That's got us the move done up into P number 2. And Presnade also squeezed back through. This is exactly what I wanted. Presnade still in front of Fab. And here we are on lap number 20 now. So a little bit later on this lap. And then that happened. Your eyes are not deceiving. This is not YouTube. This is not your screen. This is my screen. And the thing that happened is the following. For some reason, I have no idea why, and I have no idea what exactly was going on, but my antivirus program decided to do updates. Yes. It decided to do updates. I've never had this before in my life. I've never had this before in any league race. Well, I've learned from this now, and I'm gonna deactivate my virus program every single time I'm league racing now. But still, this is how my screen looks like from now on, and this is super hard to not keep it, to not crash straight into a wall every single corner. This is super hard, but at the same time, I had obviously the benefit of the force feedback still functioning properly, and I practiced this track quite a lot. So, oh, that's not, for God's sake, that's not how you do that corner. That's not how you do that exit. I was about to say, like, the force feedback is going to help us at least to manage maybe to go around the track, but that obviously is not going to happen. That's going to give us front wing damage, and that's any hope of securing probably a podium even. Really out the window, because I mean we are gonna lose time quite considerably as well on this lap anyway. And here we go, Fabrizio going past us. By the way, the first cut you saw there was me stopping the recording, because I obviously thought like, probably it's the recording causing this, and it wasn't the recording. I only found out later that it was the antivirus program. So I was like, okay, if it's not the recording, I can also, like, you know, continue recording really. And see how this goes. We are relatively close to Fabrizio, but really we are in no position. It would be so dangerous now to battle anyone really on this track. So now on to lap 24. We're still somehow in P number 3, even though we've got front wing damage and this hilarious screen here. But you also have to consider, like, Presnade's tires are probably screaming like crazy at this point. And I didn't really care really at this point. I just wanted to finish the race. I just wanted to finish the race and not get any more damage. That's too late on the brakes, and that's a 5-second stopping off for corner cutting, which is not really valid, in my opinion anyway, because it also was my, I think, second warning of the race or something, and it's going to give us more front wing damage than we already had. And now Prejnade is probably going to go past us here straight away. I'm putting down the ERS, giving him lots of room here on the right hand side, and there we go, he's going past us. And the question is now, well, at this point I already thought okay, this penalty will probably get removed because it was the second warning, only my second warning, and it was quite a ridiculous cut, but still, I can barely see where I'm going, so yeah, probably that that thing wasn't really that valid, and we don't really want to fight Prejnade here. Daniel had that on super soft, is relatively close behind us, so we need to be careful with him. That's too late on the brakes there. We almost hit the inside wall there as well. That was scary, very, very scary again. We somehow managed to hold on, and we're skipping one lap later. There we go, there's Prejnade, but there's Daniel Haddad right behind us, and we're probably on lost course here. Going into this right-hander, we're on the curb there, it gets a better traction, and I am just letting him through, really. There is no point fighting. It would be so dangerous, really, at this point to fight him for this position, and that's going to drop us down to P5. And honestly, I was so disappointed. I was really, really disappointed. We had a really, really good race, to be honest, until lap 20, until we really, you know, we were in the fight for P2, maybe P3, and yeah, then that happened, and now it was only really a we're going into survival mode, really. You can see Jan Fela only 2.4 seconds behind, even though it was on a ridiculously bad strategy after the safety car. David Tunitsa is going to win third race in a row he has won in this league. That is incredibly impressive. Fabrizio Donoso in P2, and I think Prejnade is going to hold on to P3 here. It's just about ahead of Daniel Haddad. We're coming out in P5. It says P6 here, but I can tell you the penalty I've got, the 5-second stop and go, did get removed in the end. So it is P number 5 here in the end. Honestly, considering this was, considering what we had to deal with in the last 6.5 laps, I should be really happy with that. But after the race, I was really, really pissed off, to be honest. That was probably one of the best races I have driven probably in a while in this league, and where I also had really, really good pace. So yeah, it just happens, I guess. We have to deal with it. And here we can see the Drivers' Championship after this round for the first time, as I promised you a few videos ago. David Tunitsa is in front ahead of Fabrizio Donoso, Alvaro Carota, and Daniel Haddad. We are staying in P5 where we were before, with a little bit of a buffer behind, a little bit of a buffer in front, and a non-runner jumped up into 12 after starting from last and getting P7 in the end. So relatively good effort from him as well, considering this was definitely not his favorite track. And yeah, that was the race in Baku, quite an eventful one. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you for Spain hopefully relatively soon. Goodbye.